boys, we're back for round 21 of the Premier League. We've got a long shot for you, a ridiculous 550 to 1 shot for you, and we've also got a W double hacker, as is infamously my catchphrase. So we're going to preview Tuesday night's games. Let's go. I've made some intuitive picks, but as on that betting checklist on YouTube, that is the first step to any bet, in my opinion, anyway. So my intuitive pick for Brentford City is a bit of a... No, it's actually not that mad. It's both teams to score. Brentford at home are obviously a monster. City leaking goals, although I did notice in the last 5 games, they've only been conceding 0.8 goals a game.
I completely agree.
Thunk it, they've won 3 in a row for the first time. Not like them.
The thing is, though, having watched both of the Leicester game and the West Ham game, both of those teams could have scored. You know, they both could have had 2 or 3 goals each. West Ham missed loads of chances. I think Kudus hit the bar and the post.
What are we saying for the XG?
Leicester created 1 XG against him, but it felt like more than that. Jamie Vardy definitely should have scored. He had a lot of good opportunities. I mean, look, West Ham created 1.5 XG.
Oh my god! No, this is eye-opening. Yeah.
City did not play well in either game either. Like Savio was by far the best player on the pitch. He set up the own goal as well. And Haaland looked like he was back finishing his chances. But other than that, apart from Savio, City still looked shit. Like this goal, this Phil Foden one, was a mistake from a West Ham defender. It's a misplaced pass straight to De Bruyne, who gave Foden basically. So I don't think this is City out of the rut at all. I think they've
But you did just say apart from the fact that Haaland's bearing his chances, but that is the difference between a good team.
It is. I completely agree.
He scores that many goals.
Yeah, I completely agree, but I think defensively they're still really frail. So and like you say, Brentford at home are a really good side.
City's 3 as well, going back to it, is a Leicester side who are properly relegation fodder, got rid of a manager, didn't really improve with the new manager, and West Ham who literally sacked their manager, it was like 24 hours before this game, so obviously Potter's not going to have done anything. And then he
was still in charge for this.
Oh yeah, that was this one they sacked him after, which is ridiculous. West Ham have played against since then, haven't they? Because Potter
they lost to Villa in the cup 2-1.
Yeah, those are basically the 3 easiest fixtures you could get in the whole of English football right now.
Yeah, exactly.
As a team at the top.
And they made a real fist of the first 2, Leicester and West Ham. Like I say, they could have easily both been draws.
Only 8 against Salford as well.
But Brentford are the definition of a mixed bag, I would say. Like, that at one stage not long ago they were the best team in the league at home. But if you actually looked at the games they'd played, they'd played only teams like in the bottom half at home. So in the second half of the season, that means they're going to be playing all the top teams at home. So I'd expect their home form to dip off. But then they go, just when they look like they're stringing together a poor run of fixtures, they go. I know it's only Southampton, but they battered them. They had something like 11 big chances or something, Brentford. So I don't think the XG... This is the thing that annoys me about XG. This is a bit of a tangent, but... I watched a game the other day. It was Wolves... Nottingham Forest, against Wolves. And Morgan Gibbs-White scored, and it was what I would say was a decent chance. Like a player in form is almost certainly going to put it away. The XG of it, when I looked later on, was like 0.15. And I think Brian Mbeumo, for instance, is a player who's been on unbelievable form this season. So he gets a big chance. He's probably going to bag it. Like he bagged it against Arsenal. He had 1 chance all game and he scored there.
But the XG of these chances, you can't count on it dropping to someone like that. You know, we were talking about that Fulham goal in the Champions League.
Yeah.
There's no chance he bags that now.
No, so my argument would be that for some players, particularly players like Nick Jackson and stuff, who are like notoriously not good finishers, XG is kind of useful because they can accumulate loads of good chances. But for good players in good form, like Chris Wood or Brian Mbeumo, or obviously like I was going to say Haaland, but even he's an accumulator of XG, isn't he?
It'd be difficult, of course, but it'd be cool if someone could have a model that incorporates like a coefficient for a striker that's in good form. Times it by 1.2, and then for a striker that's in bad form,
it would be because if you take the boomer approach and you think like football's played on the pitch and all that, sometimes you do see a chance and you think you should have scored that. That was an XG of 0.4, so. Like what is it? I think a big chance is a 0.4 xG or something, isn't it?
But I think part of that
0.3 is it?
is that thing where everyone overestimates their own ability. So you
Yeah,
see a chance and you think I'd have scored that when you wouldn't have done. Actually, if historically you look at it, those chances have only ever been scored 50% of the time, so it's
yeah,
0.5 xg. But you reckon a 0. Let's think as well. A penalty is 0.75, and you definitely go you should be scoring a penalty. But 25% of the time they don't score penalties. Everyone.
yeah,
But either way, it's got its uses, but you've got to take it with a huge,
yeah.
huge
Exactly,
tablespoon of salt.
exactly. Yeah. I have a tendency to look at it and just think it's gospel. Like I just I just read XG or XG for and against or whatever it is and think, right, yeah, this team are doing well, or this team overperformed, or this team did that, but it's not as straightforward as that. That's my own
No,
sort of
you might have a
bias.
team as well, especially like City, where they play with a lot of cutbacks. That's where a lot of the big chances come from. If there's a
Mm.
cutback across the face of goal and a striker doesn't get a touch to it, there's no XG counted in that. But if
Yeah,
that
that's
happens
true.
3 times in a game, you're like, there should be 3-0 up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, both teams to score Brentford City. What's the AI saying for both teams to score? Did we just even manage to disprove that or not? Because we
No,
kind of
no,
worked out
I think
Brentford are
it's a
actually
good
shit at
prediction,
home.
mate. If I actually if I was to show you my bet 365, my bet slip now, then it would be I've got both teams to score in this one as well. I've actually got more than two
Nice.
goals actually, so that's 70% likely. It's slightly better.
70%.
Brentford definitely score. I think City definitely score, and then I think there'll be more. I should have just said I think there'll be more than 2.5 goals. I think both teams will score, and there'll be more than 2.5. Yeah.
West Ham Fulham, I didn't even put one for this. It's one of those games
No.
where could be 0-0, could be 2-2, could be three
Yeah.
nil to either side. I would never ever ever bet on a game like this in my life.
No.
It's Graham Potter's first game, which also somehow means absolutely nothing as well.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say that would tempt me in a game like this is the odds are actually highlighted in green for a draw across all the bookmakers. So you can get good value for a draw, and I think given that it's Graham Potter's first game, they're not in danger of relegation. They played well against Aston Villa for the first half. They've also got some key injuries like Jared Bowen, Antonio got injured, Fulkrug's injured as well. So they've not got a good number nine. They're playing Danny Ings at number nine, who stunk the gaff out when he came on the other day. And Fulham have drawn 5 of their last 7 games. I think
Yeah,
both teams would be happy with a draw in this one, and I think you can get good odds on a draw. And given that the AI predictions are so close, 31, 32, 37, could
yeah.
see this one being a draw. Could see it
I
being
even
1-1.
said 0-0 or 2-2. That was my
Same.
instinctive pick. Neither have anything. It's got draw actually written all over it. Neither of them really have anything to play for. Like, okay, Fulham could jump up to 7th. West Ham could jump up to like 11th and 14th. It's just a boring game of football, isn't it?
Fulham are a
The amount of
decent.
draws for Fulham as well. They've drawn
Yeah,
7 of the
exactly,
last 10.
exactly. This is what I mean, and I look at Fulham as a good defence, but a pretty average attack. Unless like their best players are firing, which I don't think they are at the moment. Yeah, this could easily be like a 1-1 type scenario, and they'd both take it. Which, given it's green, that's what I'd back in this one. I think.
I don't like to put money on bets
No, I agree with
on
you.
draws.
Funny enough, actually, in this, you could easily put together an ACCA where all the odds are pretty decent in this. Like you could go Brentford to win against City, which wouldn't shock you, would it? You could go draw between West Ham and Fulham, a draw between Chelsea and Bournemouth, as we'll go on to next. That wouldn't shock me either, and you could get green on that. And then a draw or Forest to beat Liverpool. I mean, we'll talk about that as well, but neither a
Yeah,
draw in this one wouldn't shock me either. So you could put together a really high value sort of high odds pick here if you were that way inclined. Again,
Chelsea Bournemouth. This was my pick for over 2.5. I know you preferred the City game for it, and the head-to-head's not going to give you much either. Missed penalty though as well.
mm,
Bare yellow cards.
yeah,
Fucking
look at
hell.
that.
Battle of the Bridge.
Yeah,
Battle of the what's Battle of the
vitality.
Vitality Stadium.
Yeah, not got the same ring to it, has it?
There's never been a battle there. The soft southern fairies
Yeah.
down there.
Chelsea have stuttered as of late. I mean, they have not picked up a win in the Premier League in the last 4 games. I think their
Weird they
attacks.
dropped off in form. I know it was like
I
when
think.
as soon as everyone started mentioning the title and stuff.
Yeah, well, it was that gimmick of we're not in a title race. We're not in a title race. No, you're not in a title race.
They're like, watch, we'll prove it.
Yeah. I think with Chelsea all season their defence has been good, but they've had a mistake in them. Defence is constantly changing the back four, and they have not got all of their players.
Look
If
at
you took
that.
them individually, they all have a mistake in them. But across the season, the stats are really good. They've conceded on average 1 goal per game, just 1.1 xG against, and they Bournemouth a good defence as well, I'd say. But the problem is, like I said, they've all got a mistake, so they hardly ever keep clean sheets. But their attackers bailed them out, and their
That's what's
attacks,
shown in the stats there, isn't it? That's why they're
yeah,
above Bournemouth in the table because they've got better talent.
yeah, exactly. But I think their attackers dropped off recently. Quite clearly, they've not been scoring the same amount of goals, so that's been the difference, I think.
This has actually made me less confident in my pick, but I still probably would be. I still probably would put it on, but it's not disproving it, but it's made me less
Mm.
confident in it.
What I would
I
say
could easily
about
see.
Bournemouth is that I think Bournemouth are a team a bit like Fulham, where when they're not on the front foot, when they're sort of taking a really aggressive back foot approach, is when they're at their best. So like when they beat
Mm,
United 3-0, they beat Spurs, obviously, they beat Man City, didn't they? They started that Man City run where they started losing games back here. They beat Arsenal, they drew with Villa, but then they lose to Brighton, they lose to Brentford, they draw with West Ham, they draw with Fulham. So I think this is a game that will suit Bournemouth for me.
yeah, same here. Definitely. That's why I didn't want to touch the result, and it was more about over 2.5 because I thought that there was a bit more. I thought both teams were a bit more leaky than they are. But to be
Yeah,
honest, the defenses don't look bad.
two good defences. I think Bournemouth are like the sixth or
Mm.
seventh best defence in the league. Like you can see here
Look
in
at
the
the
last
goal
five
scorers as
games,
well.
the
Do
goal
you know,
scorers.
for me, genuinely now, I would actually take that out of my bet slip, the over 2.5 in this one.
Mm,
That has
I would go
disproven it for
again.
me.
There's no obvious choice for me in this, so I would go with my gut, which I think this will be a draw. I think it'll be 1-1. This Bournemouth side, they don't have their own number 9, do they? But they've just got so many
Well,
like
they have that Evan
attacking.
Nilsson. They spent 40 mil, didn't they? To
He's
filter by the
injured, mate.
season, how many has he got?
He's
Yeah,
injured.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. And then
I'm
their
just curious because
backup,
he's still done shit anyway. He scored
the
one goal.
backup.
Oh,
No, he's
five.
got 5. Their backup is Unal, who's just done his ACL, hasn't he? So
They
they've
play
literally.
Clivert as a false nine sometimes. He's on
Yeah,
pens, isn't
that's who
he?
they're playing now. They're playing Clivert there,
Mm.
and they've recalled Jebison, but he's no good really. So I think they'll be playing 4 attacking midfielders, which they make it work, don't they? Last game is probably the big one. What is it? First
It's a
versus
tasty one.
third, or are they second? Third, yeah. Nottingham Forest third. First versus third. Now,
But so importantly, they had the number at Anfield.
yeah, that's right. They won. They went and did the snatch and grab 1-0, didn't they? Callum Hudson-Odoi, do you remember
Mm.
cutting in on the inside and
Yeah, yeah,
bending it into the far corner? I think
I
Liverpool
do.
in that game had a lot of chances. It wasn't. It was a frustrating game for them, I think. But having watched Liverpool's last 2 games against United and against Spurs, I do look at it and think that they're not quite at the level that they were at. Salah was missing a fair few chances in both games, and the defence looked get-atable. I mean, Trent and Andy Robertson have completely forgotten how to defend, and Van Dijk, Konate's fresh back from injury. He didn't really look fit. They kind of had to rush him back because Joe Gomez got injured, didn't he? So I think there's definitely I wouldn't touch this, but if you were telling me that I was
I've
forced to, I'd put draw on again.
really, I've agreed. I agree with you overall result wise. My pick was a Chris Wood shot on target and over 3 cards in the game.
Yeah. The thing that I don't like about backing a Chris Wood shot on target though is he basically scores with every single one of his shots on target. Like he has. I think
You'd
I'm
rather back
pretty
goal or
sure.
assist.
Well, I saw a graphic of who has the most goals per shot in the league, and I'm pretty sure it was Chris Wood. Across the season, he's averaged just over 1 shot on target per game, and he's got 12 goals. So if he's going to have a shot on target, he's probably going to score. Whereas Mohamed Salah averages over 2 shots on target per game, and I think when you watch it, it plays out on that. And he averages 3.5 shots per game because he normally
He has
skies
got
a
nearly
pretty big
twice the
chance,
goals
doesn't
though.
he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with a draw in this one. So just to come circle back round to my original point, you could back
Oh my
Brentford
god! You put that
draw,
headset on and you're giving it a
draw.
circle back round. Fuck's
Yeah,
sake, man.
circle back round and touch base. Uh, Brentford to win, you get good odds on that. West Ham Fulham draw, get good odds on that. Chelsea Bournemouth draw, good odds on that, and Forest Liverpool draw, good odds on that. And you could do score draws on the last three, and you'd get. Oh mate, this is an absolute fucking banger of a bet. 550 to 1 it is, and it's good value. So you could put good value 550 to 1 Aka.
Or join me on the dark side. I've put together a W Doaka.
The famous W Does. The
Double zero.
infamous. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Infamous.
yeah.
It's I'm joking. This one's 2.2 to 1. This is the sensible pick, the 2.2 to 1. This is what covers your 550 to 1 stake. So we're going over 3 cards in Liverpool against Forest. Look at that last time, absolute brawl. And then if you go into the team stats and we just look at the average cards per team. Average booking points, they're getting about 2 each per game. Forest just over. So over 3, play it safe. And then Chris Wood over 0.5 shots on target. He's averaging 1.1 over the season. Still averaging at least 1 per game as of his last 5 games. Obviously, he's on fire at the moment. You reckon it's worth backing a goal or assist anyway, because if he hits it on target, he normally scores, apparently.
That's right.
And then in Brentford against City, I'm just going both teams to score. We think Brentford are good at home, but they've had quite easy fixtures at home. But City aren't completely out of this rut. They've had easy fixtures.
Yeah. Do you not fancy over 2.5 goals at 70% likelihood according to the AI, whereas both teams to score is just 66? I'm guessing that covers the 3-0.
Bit too wild for me, that. I get a nosebleed anything over 3 to
1. Fair enough, mate. Yes, fellas, a nice one for watching. Make sure you drop a comment and let us know what you think of our predictions. Like the video, it massively helps us. We're obviously a tiny little channel just getting started in the big bad world of YouTube. So hit that subscribe button. Peace out. Cheers.